Hi everyone, I am Debora. I am here to show you Nólë Storyteller. So storytelling is our superpower. Stories engage many parts of the brain. So humans have evolved over hundreds of thousands of years telling stories and actually understanding the world through stories. So you're really hardwired for that. If we want to teach more and better, we need more great stories. The problem one we want to tackle here is disengaged students. So we connect new knowledge to assimilated knowledge through a storyline in our mind. And if there is no apparent connection to what students are interested in, they might disengage. The problem too is we need a lot more specialized content than we actually have. So meet Rebecca, aka my daughter. Rebecca is a trilingual child, and her parents hope to pass their cultural heritage to her. And as a matter of fact, in London, nearly 40% of the population was born abroad. So multilingual, multicultural children are everywhere. But more than that, meet millions of children. Traditional books are the best source of knowledge, but only books that actually have a sensible, profitable forecast will ever be published. And there is an immense amount of local knowledge in local languages that are never going to see themselves in a book. And because of that, we can use AI to help disseminate this knowledge that is unfortunately not spread. So we create a tool that creates on-demand educational books for children. So basically what we have is like narratives. And this narrative, so just like a regular children's book, but it is going to incorporate educational topics on demand, whatever the user is interested in. So the first part, the user is going to interact with a chatbot and discuss their ideas. They probably have a little bit of a narrative in mind and certainly an educational topic they want to convey. And so this is going to be discussed. Currently, this takes about a good 5 minutes of interaction, the user with the chatbot. And so a sort of a structure for the book gets set up. And on the second step, the user is going to be requested to provide some form of academic material so that the system can use to enrich this story with that particular information. Once we have that, then the user in the end will have a story and images. Currently, this is going to come in a docx file for the story, and the images as a package of PNG images. So basically, this is a little bit of the code as it is. It is basically structured around a chatbot. So this chatbot is our main app. And from this app, and I put this bit of the code here, because this is the bit that you have an interaction with the chatbot and you can talk like we cannot know how the conversation is going to be. But at some point, the chatbot, so the large language model, is going to conclude that, okay, we already have enough information, so we can move on to the next step. Once this happens, it's going to ask the user for an email address so that we can send everything afterwards by email. Once the user enters this email, so the code is going to receive it and is going to say, okay, now we trigger the whole process. So here we have modules. There are other Python files, but in essence, this is here. So basically, now we are going to trigger generating a summary of the whole conversation history, transforming that into a JSON. And from this bit, then we can trigger other things. For example, we can trigger the retrieved augmented generation search with the information that the user provided the link. So the system is going to go there, download the PDF, upload it to a vector database, and use that to do the search so that we can retrieve this information that is going to enrich our story. And with that, we feed the story generator and observe that we use the same OpenAI client all the way through here, which is very convenient, to our story generators that is going to use the information, the conversation history, the client, and is going to generate the story. And this story then is going to be post-processed to prepare inputs for image prompts, because we need images. It's a book for children. We absolutely need images. And then in the final step, we generate images. So this is a little bit of about our RAG, our Retrieved Augmented Generation. So this is just one of the modules of our tool, but I thought it plays actually a crucial role here, because if you just go to ChatGPT and say, okay, can you please write a story that it's a random story, I'd like to have some quantum mechanics there, or whatever, you name it. In general, the result is going to be a bit bland, a bit general, a bit not that interesting, and most certainly not very deep, right? If you provide a good academic material, so this is going to be nicely investigated. In this case, I'm using, I built a RAG with LangChain, and I'm using the multi-query retriever, which in my opinion is the way to go for building a RAG for a document you actually don't know. And the default in the code right now, it's like we have a predefined query, because the user is not going to query the RAG as traditionally it happens, but we just want to explain this topic that comes from the JSON, that comes from the conversation history in detail. And then once we have that, we will use this information to enrich the story generation, and this actually makes a huge difference. Okay, this is a little bit about our chatbot. This is how it happens. This is just an example. It's like, for example, here I was inquiring about the book I want to generate. That is Alice in Wonderland, but Alice is in Quantum Wonderland. So she gets transformed into something so small, she's almost the size of an atom. And then she sees everything with quantum mechanics instead of classical mechanics. And this is more or less how it happens. So you have like a conversation where you want to explain what is your idea, how do the characters look like, which kind of material do you want to convey, and so on and so forth. And here we go to a story. So here I present you a story. Obviously, I don't have time to read, but this story was absolutely generated by the tool, and I haven't modified a single word. This is about how Rebecca got to know about retrieved augmented generation systems. So she got to hear her mom talking about it, and she started asking, okay, what is retrieval actually? What does that mean? And what is retrieval augmented generation? And then Rebecca goes on to ask her dad, and these images, by the way, were also generated by the tool, and I haven't touched them. Rebecca goes asking her dad. She has a nice conversation. Dad starts to explaining. And then dad says, well, RAG will have two types of memory. You have a parametric memory, you have a non-parametric memory, and one of them is just like you're playing a board game and you actually understand the rules. And the other one, it would have like, you actually have lots of knowledge, like, for example, the whole Wikipedia. And these are the two types of memory. And so she goes ask her teacher, and there is a conversation with the school children, like about that as well. She comes, she talks about that with her twin sisters, Antonia and Cecilia. And in the end, so they realized that if they had a RAG, and if they would play a board game about creating stories, the RAG would actually be a fantastic thing to help them all. So this is it. There is still a lot to be done in this project. There is a great deal that can be improved from story quality, depth, image quality, image consistency, cost. So these are all things that really have to be improved. But I think this is a genuine case where I can help spread knowledge, help disadvantaged groups. And if you're interested in that, by all means, go to my GitHub repository. And if you want, we can build this up together. That's it. So with that, thank you. I would like to use this opportunity to thank you guys so much for the incredible experience that the AI E1 has been to me. And yes, I am very, very happy with all that. And thank you so much for this.